Hey, how's it going, guys? How many websites have you been on that have content boxes that look like this? As you can see, all of the containers are different heights because the content boxes have different lengths of text in there, and that leaves the buttons uneven. I don't know about you, but I think this looks really tacky and unprofessional. And so in this video, I'm gonna teach you how to build content boxes the right way in WordPress using Kadence Blocks, and they're gonna look like this. They're gonna have even height containers all the way across, regardless of the amount of text in there. And we're gonna bottom align the buttons so that all of the buttons look perfectly even all the way across. So without further ado, let's get right into it. Now, before I get into the tutorial, I have built 36 content box sections that are 100% free for you to use for basically any use case out there through Start Blogging Blocks, which is a set of pre-designed Kadence wireframe blocks that I've built that help you build landing pages and blog posts so much faster than before. And so if you scroll down on this page here, you can see that we have an affiliate collection with all different types of affiliate blocks. And then we have a page building collection that is used to help build landing pages, along with a couple of other collections. And you can see in this page building collection here, we have a content category. So I'm gonna click on that, and you can see all of the free designs that I have built for you that you can import onto your website instantly. And so if we scroll down here, you can start to see all of the content box sections that we have available. So we have 2-column, 3-column, 4-column in basically every different variation possible. So we have some with icons, some without icons. We have some with borders, some without borders, different rounded corners. And so there are just a ton of different content box sections here that, like I said, are 100% free for you to use. And in order to get these onto your website, all you have to do is go to startbloggingblocks.com/free, and you will land on this page. Scroll down here to where it says Get Start Blogging Blocks. All you have to do is fill out your first name and your email and click the button that says Send me the free blocks, and you'll get your free license key sent to you right away. Now let's get into teaching you how to build content boxes the right way in WordPress using Kadence Blocks. For this tutorial, the only plugin that you're going to need on your website is the free Kadence Blocks plugin. You can see I have it right here. I do have the Pro plugin on here as well, but it is not necessary to build these content boxes. And if you don't already have the Kadence Blocks plugin on your website, go to plugins on the left-hand side here. You're gonna go up and click Add New. Over here in the search for Kadence Blocks. And once that comes back, you'll see Gutenberg Blocks by Kadence Blocks right here. Click the install button and then the activate button to activate it on your website, and you'll be ready to go. Here I am, I created a brand new page. I called it Content Boxes the Right Way, and I'm just going to change a few page settings at the cadence level to make this a full width page. So up here on the upper right, you can see that there is a button that says page settings. I'm gonna click on that, and then my recommended settings for a full width landing page. You're gonna come in here and you're gonna disable the page title. The page layout here, you're going to change to full width. The content style, you're going to click unbox, and that's going to not put the content in a box so that it's truly full width. The content vertical padding, you're going to disable. And then the show featured image, you're going to disable as well. And so those are the recommended settings to give you a full width type of page in Kadence. It's going to be similar to using full width in Elementor or whatever it might be. And let's get right into teaching you how to build these content boxes the right way. So with any type of landing page, you're likely going to start with a hero section at the top of your page. And I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this because that's not what we're teaching in this tutorial, but I do just want to show you how quick and easy it is to add any type of hero section to your page using Start Blogging Blocks. So since we have the free Kadence Blocks plugin on our website, you can see that there is a Kadence Design Library button up here whenever you go to a new page or a post. So I'm going to click on that. And because we are connected to the Start Blogging Blocks library, you will see a tab up here that says SB Blocks. So I've chosen that. And then you can see all of the templates that we have available to you to help you build landing pages and blog posts so much faster than before. So I'm going to go down to the hero category here to get a hero section and click on that. And then I'm just going to click on this gradient background hero section right here. And so you can see that instantly imported onto the page. You can see it says an enticing headline with a gradient background. And so you would just go in there and type whatever you would like your headline to say, and then you can add a little sub headline down below right here. And then below that, you can configure your call to action buttons here. And so there's 2 buttons here, and say you don't want one of these, you can just click on that button and you can just remove that single button, and that will just leave your single call to action button. So now right below this hero section, we are going to add content boxes like I showed you at the beginning of the video. As I said, you can use any of the 36 completely free content box templates that we have available to you through Start Blogging Blocks. They're already all built the right way, and they're going to have even height containers, and they're going to have the buttons bottom aligned to the container automatically for you. But I do want to show you how to build content boxes the right way using Kadence Blocks, because this will definitely up level your web design skills. So the very first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to enter a new block below this hero section. So I'm going to press enter, and a shortcut to add any block in the WordPress block editor is to type a / and then the name of the block. And so here I'm going to do a / and type row layout, and you'll see that the Kadence row layout block shows. So I'm going to click on that, and then it says select your layout. And so here's where you can select how many columns and things that you're going to use. And so I'm going to use 3 even columns. So I'm going to choose this one right here that has 3 equal columns. And you can see that those columns then get added to my screen. So I'm still at the row layout level, and you can see over in the block settings on the right-hand side here, I'm going to go down to content max width, and I'm going to enable this toggle that says inherit max width from theme. And so when I did that, you can see that my inner content here squeezed to fit perfectly inside the max width that is set inside my Kadence customizer. And so when you set that for row layouts, that's going to make sure that all of your content stays perfectly even in a straight line all the way down the page. Now, the next thing we're going to do is add vertical padding to the top and bottom of this row layout block. And thanks to Kadence Blocks 3.0, this is extremely easy to do, and it's very convenient. And so you can see I'm at the row layout block level. And if I hover over here, you can see that it says small, and that's what my current vertical padding is for the top and bottom. And so a really convenient way to set your vertical padding is to just click and drag, and it will switch between all of the variable padding values that Kadence Blocks has. So I'm going to click and drag here, and you can see that I can make this larger or smaller, and it just snaps into place with all of the different variable sizing that they have. So for here, I'm going to set 2x large. And then at the bottom here, you can see that I have small set as well. I'm going to click and drag that until that's 2x large as well. So now I have perfectly even padding on the top and bottom, and that only took a few seconds. Another thing you can do if you don't want to click and drag is you can go into the advanced tab right here at the row layout level, and you can see that the padding is right here. And when you hover over the padding, it's really nice because you get a nice visualization of what that padding is taking up in the editor. And you can see that it's set to XXL for top and bottom. You can also click into here and use this slider to easily set it as well. So now our row layout block is fully configured. Let's get into styling the sections. So what we're going to do is we're going to style the very first section. And then what's really nice is we can copy the styles from that first section and paste it into the second and third section to save us a bunch of time. So to select the first section, you're going to hover over the section here, and you're going to click just inside this blue border here. Don't click inside the dotted lines here because that's going to select the block. But if you click just inside the blue border, that's going to select the section itself. And so when I click that, you can see in the bottom left here, it's a little hard to see. You can see I'm at this section level now. Another easy way to select the section is if I go up to the document overview button here and choose that, you can see I can come down to the second row layout here and I can expand that. And when I hover over here, you can see the section get highlighted in the editor. And so I can choose the first section from here as well. And so I'm going to close out of this, and then let's style our section. And so with the first section selected, I'm going to go over to the style tab in the block settings here. And here you can add a background color for your sections if you like. I'm going to leave mine blank, and I'm going to come down here to the border styles, and I'm going to expand this. And so I'm going to set my border here. I'm going to set a 1 pixel solid border for this section. And so I'm going to click on the color chooser here, and I'm going to choose the third color from my Kadence global color palette here. And then you can see that it's set to pixels. And so I'm just going to type a 1 in there, and that's going to add a 1 pixel solid border to the first section here. You can see that as I hover off of that there. That's looking nice. So I'm going to click back into the section here. If you would like to add rounded corners, you can do the border radius here. And so you can click this linked icon here, and you could add, maybe 8 pixels of rounded corners. And so you can see how that rounds the corners nicely. So that's a nice look as well. For this tutorial, I'm just going to leave my sections fully boxed. So I'm going to have no border radius. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to remove that again. And then I'm going to add a box shadow to this section to give it a bit of depth and make it pop off the screen. And so under the border styles here, where it says box shadow, enable that toggle. And then for the color here, I'm going to do fully black at 50% opacity. And so I'm going to click into the color chooser here. And you can see that it's already set to black, which is 6 zeros for the hex code. But then the alpha value here, which is set to 0.2, I'm going to just bump that up to 0.5. And what that's going to do is do fully black at 50% opacity. And then I'm going to click out of the color chooser here, and then I'm going to set my values. And so for the X value, I'm going to leave that at 0. For the Y value, I'm going to do 14. For the blur, I'm going to do 25. And for the spread, I'm going to do -10. So you can see when I set those values there, it gives a nice box shadow effect, makes the box look like it's popping off the screen, and it's a very nice look. So now we have our box styled. The very last thing I'm going to do is add padding to the section here so that it will give our content inside a little bit of breathing room. So at this section level, again, I'm going to go over to the advanced tab here, and we're going to add padding from here. And so I want to add padding to all 4 sides of the section. And so I'm going to choose this linked icon right here. And you can see that turns into a nice slider that we can slide and add padding very easily. And so for this, I'm going to set it to medium, which is 32 pixels of padding. And once again, as I hover over this, you can see the padding visually represented in the editor, which is very convenient. All right, so we have the 1 pixel border added. We've added a box shadow, and we've given this section 32 pixels of padding. Now, as I said, thanks to Kadence Blocks functionality, we can come in here and we can copy these styles and paste them over to the other 2 sections to save us a bunch of time. So once again, at the section level here, in this toolbar that shows above the section, there's a copy paste styles button. Click that, and you can see that there's an option that says copy styles. So I'm going to choose that, and then I'm going to come over to the remaining sections here, and I'm going to paste those styles. So once again, click just inside the blue border here. So I'm going to click that, and that chooses the second section, and I'm going to come up to here, and I'm going to paste the styles. And then I'm going to come over here to the third section. I'm going to click inside there, and I'm going to come up here and paste styles there as well. And so now here you can see all 3 of the sections. They are styled the exact same, and it took only a few seconds to copy and paste those styles over to our other sections. All right, now we get to the fun part. Now we get to add the content inside of these content boxes. And so for this tutorial, I'm going to have an icon at the top. I'm going to have a headline below that. Then we're going to add a little paragraph below the headline, and then we're going to have a call to action button. Once again, we're just going to build the content in the first section, and then we're going to really easily copy and paste that over to the remaining sections so we don't have to rebuild it all. So the very first thing we're going to do is add an icon into our first section. And so come here and click on the plus button and search icon. You can see once that comes back, here's the Kadence icon block. I'm going to choose that. And so we have an icon added, and over in the general tab for the single icon block settings, there is an icon chooser. So I'm going to click on this, and then I'm going to choose the icon that I want. And so there I have my icon chosen. If you would like, you can set your icon color here to something different. There is an initial state and a hover state if you want the icon to change colors when you hover. I'm just going to set the first one to the third color in my global color palette. And so that's looking great. And then I'm actually going to add just a little bit of bottom margin to this icon to give a little bit of breathing room for the headline that we're going to be adding next. And so still at the single icon level, I'm going to come up to the advanced tab here and choose that. And then for the icon margin, I'm going to click on the bottom here, and I'm going to set this slider to just XXS, which is extra, extra small. And that adds just a little bit of padding below the icon. And so now we have our icon added. The next thing we're going to do is add a headline below this icon. And for that, we're going to use an advanced text block from Kadence. Now, one thing to keep in mind is if you're at the single icon level, you can see I'm at single icon on the bottom left here. You will have to jump up to the parent level to easily add another block after it. And so what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna click on the icon block down in the breadcrumb in the lower left here, and that's gonna go to the parent block, and you can see now it has the whole thing chosen. And now I can just click enter, and that's going to add a new block right after that. Like I said, we're gonna be adding an advanced text block from Kadence. So I'm gonna do a / and type advanced text. And you can see that pops right up, and I'm gonna choose that. Now there is a little bit of extra default spacing that gets added between the icon and heading here. And so I'm actually gonna just right away go into the advanced tab here, and I'm gonna go to the top margin of this headline, and I'm just going to take this and move it to none. And so you just have to grab it and move it to somewhere and then move it back, and that's going to set it to 0 or none. And you can see that that tightens up the space between the icon and the heading here, so that's great. And so I'm just gonna click in here, and I'm just gonna type my heading now. All right, so I have my heading typed out here. And then the next thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna come up to the align text button in the toolbar here, and I'm just gonna align the text center. And then there's just one more thing I'm gonna do in the style tab for this headline. So go to the style tab here. If you would like, you can set a font size here. And so if you'd like this to be small, medium, large, extra large, whatever it is that fits your content box, you can come in here and choose that here. I'm gonna leave mine deselected, but the one thing I am gonna change is I'm gonna add a line height here. And so I'm going to click on the line height. Make sure that it's set to this individual dash and not any of these values. So I'm gonna have it at the dash here, and I'm gonna type 1.3. And you're not really gonna notice any difference in the editor when you set that, but I wanna show you an example of different line heights. And so here's a really quick example. Don't worry, I'm gonna go back and show you how to build all of the buttons and all that, but I just wanted to show you 3 finished content boxes that had different line heights for the headline. And so this first content box here has a content headline with a line height of 1.2. The middle one has a line height of 1.3, and the third one has a line height of 1.6. And so depending on how large or small your headline is, I would recommend using somewhere around 1.2 or 1.3 for a line height. And you can see the smaller that line height is, the smaller the vertical spacing between the words are if you have a longer headline and it breaks into multiple lines. And so this first and second headline looks so much better than the third one that has a line height of 1.6, which many things default to. And so that's just going to condense the vertical spacing between the headlines, and it's going to make your design look a lot more professional. Now that we have our line height set to 1.3, there is just one more small thing that I'm going to discuss, and that's going to be the HTML tag that you want to use for this headline. And so you can see when you add an advanced text block, it automatically defaults to being an H2 element. And that's actually perfect for the design that I'm currently building, because when you have a hero section at the top here, your top main page title is always going to be your H1 element, and there should only ever be one H1 element on your page. And then Google likes to have a nice hierarchy of headings on your page. And so it would make sense that after the H1, assuming you don't put a headline above these 3 content boxes, that each of these headlines in these content boxes would be H2 elements because they follow the correct hierarchy. Now, you might be building content boxes differently or putting it in a different type of layout. So just be aware of what HTML tag that you're using. But like I said, you can click into the advanced text block here. You can change the HTML tag through here. Or if you go over to the general tab of the block settings, you can also change the HTML tag here. So I'm just gonna leave all mine to be H2 elements. And so now we're ready to add a paragraph block below this headline here. And so I'm going to add another advanced text block from Kadence. So I'm gonna enter down, I'm gonna do a / and type advanced text again, and I'm gonna choose that. And so right away, I know that I want this element to be a paragraph and not a heading. So I'm gonna come up to the H2 and I'm gonna click this and I'm gonna choose paragraph right here. And that automatically changes your element to be a paragraph, which is perfect. And now I'm just gonna click where it says write something, and I'm gonna type my paragraph that I want my content box to say. So I've typed out what I want my content box to say. The last thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna align the text center. So I'm gonna click here and choose align text center, just like we did with the headline. And that's looking great. The paragraph is done already. If you'd like, you can choose a font size or change the color, but I'm just gonna leave mine as is. And now the last thing we're gonna do with this first content box is we're gonna add a call to action button. And so I'm going to enter down and I'm going to add an advanced buttons block from Kadence. So I'm gonna type / and do advanced buttons, and I'm going to choose that. And you can see that that adds a button right away. It automatically inherits the global colors from your theme. So that's awesome. It looks really good when you hover over it, and then already has the cursor inside the button so you can type whatever you'd like this to say. For this, I'm going to type learn more. So we have the text here, and then over in the single button block settings here, I'm going to choose full for button width. And what that does is it fills out the entire content box so that the button takes up that entire width. I'm gonna leave my button size at medium, and then we're gonna jump over to the style tab here. And if you would like, you can completely customize the colors for both the regular and hover states. And so there's a hover tab here. So if you want your button to do different things when you hover over it, you can come in here and you can change all sorts of settings. You can add a gradient if you'd like. So there are a lot of customization options here available to you. I'm gonna leave mine to just be the default theme because I think that looks really good. And I'm going to come down to the typography settings here and open this up, and I'm going to go down to the font weight and I'm going to choose bold here. And so that's going to bold my text. If you don't want to do it through here, I'm just going to set it back to inherit. You can actually come in and select your text here, and you can just bold it from the toolbar if you'd like as well. But I'm just going to do it from the block settings here. And then you can also add an icon super easily to your button. So I'm just going to open up the icon settings here, and you can select icon here. So I'm going to just add an arrow just to show you as an example. So I'm going to type arrow here, and we're going to scroll down, and I'm going to choose this arrow right there. And you can see that that adds a nice icon arrow right to the right of the text. I'm not going to do an icon for this tutorial, so I'm going to get rid of it, but it is very easy to add if you would like. All right, so now that we have our button configured and styled, the last thing to do is add a link to the button to have it linked to whatever page you would like, whether that's an internal page on your website or if it's an external page, you can do whatever you'd like. And so with the button chosen, there are a couple of ways that you can add a link to the button. First of all, you can go to the general tab and you can type a button link directly in here if you'd like. But I personally like using the link button in the toolbar that shows above the button. So I'm just going to choose that. And then you can just come in here and you can type the URL that you would like your button to go to. And if you expand this out, you can have this go to the same tab if you'd like. You can have it open in a new tab, and then you can do no follow or sponsor attributes if you would like. Say you have an affiliate link or something that you're linking to, you could use that for those. All right, awesome. We have our first content box and the content inside all built. Now what we're going to do is we're going to copy all of these blocks and we're going to paste them over to the remaining content boxes. So that way we don't have to add each individual block again and reconfigure all the settings. So there are a couple of ways to do this. The very first way I'm going to show you is through the list view again. And so up here, I'm going to choose the document overview button and I'm going to click that. And you can see I'm on the list view tab here. And if I expand out this second row layout and then expand out the first section here, you can see that we have the icon, the advanced text block, which is our headline. We have another advanced text block, which is our paragraph. And then we have an advanced buttons block, which is our call to action button. So what you can do to copy over the content is you can choose the icon block here, and then you can hold the shift key on your keyboard and then click the bottommost one, which is the advanced buttons. And when you do that, you can see that it easily selects all 4 of our blocks in there. And then in the vertical 3-dot menu here, you can choose that and choose copy blocks. And now to easily paste these into the other sections, I'm going to click on the plus here for the second section. And I'm going to begin by just adding a basic paragraph block. And then on Windows, I'm going to press Control V, or if you're on a Mac, you can press Command V. And so I'm going to press Control V, and that instantly pastes those blocks into that section. And then I'm going to go over to the plus again. I'm going to add a basic paragraph. I'm going to do Control V, and that pastes the blocks in that section as well. The second way that you can copy and paste all of these blocks over to the sections is by doing it directly in the editor. And so it's a little tricky because if you click on the icon here, it actually has a parent block, which is the icon block, and the individual icon is a single icon block. And the same is true for the advanced buttons block. And so when I click into the button, you can see I'm at the single button level, but there's an advanced buttons parent block. And so if you're doing this, you want to make sure that you're at the icon level. And so you might have to click kind of outside of the icon here, and then you're going to hold shift, and then you're going to click on your button here. And you can see that that now highlights all 4 of our blocks here. And then you can once again go to the vertical menu. You can click copy blocks, and then you're going to go over to the plus button, add a paragraph, paste, add a paragraph here, and paste. So that's a couple of ways that you can copy content from one section to another using Kadence Blocks. So I'm going to close out of the list view here. And now that we have the content added to our second and third section, all you need to do is go in and tweak your icon, change your headline to say whatever you'd like, change the paragraph, and then change the link inside your button so that you have all three of your content boxes fully configured and set up. So I'm going to do that real quick on my end, and then we'll continue on. So here you can see I have all three of my content boxes and the content finished. So I've gone in, I've changed the icon for my second and third section. I've updated the headlines, I've added new paragraphs, and then I've updated the links for my Learn More buttons. So now let's preview the page and see how this looks. So here we are previewing the page on the front end. And if we scroll down here, you can see we're at the same exact spot, which was the issue in the very beginning of the video. Because our content boxes have different lengths of text in there, which is very common to see on websites, you can see that the containers are all different heights. So the first one is the shortest, the second one is the longest, and then the third one is right in between the two. And so let's fix this. Let's go back to the editor and make a couple of changes. So here I am back on the editor. I'm gonna click over to the left here to select the top level row layout block, which is containing all three of these content boxes. And we're gonna go over to the advanced tab here, and we're gonna open up the structure settings here, and you'll see this button that says inner column height 100%. Enable that, and when you do that, you can see that all of our containers are now even heights. And if we go and preview this again one more time, and as I scroll down here, you can see that all of our containers are even heights. Now that is a partial solution because it's nice to have our containers all be even heights, but this still looks pretty tacky because our buttons are all at different heights. It would be really nice if we could bottom align those buttons to the containers so that the whole design looks a lot more uniform and professional. So let's head back to the editor one more time and do that. So in order to bottom align our buttons to these containers, we will have to use a little bit of custom CSS. Now don't worry, I'm gonna give you the code, and I actually have an entire blog post written for this content box tutorial that has the custom CSS in it. And so I'll link to the blog post in the description below. But one of the really nice things about Kadence Blocks that gives it an advantage over other block plugins out there is that you can add custom CSS to really any container out there. So various row layouts or section blocks, you can add custom CSS to tweak the elements inside. So once again, I'm at the row layout level, which is the top level container containing all of these content boxes. And I'm gonna go over to the advanced tab, and I'm gonna scroll down here, and I'm gonna open up the custom CSS. And then I'm gonna choose this button that says edit in modal. And then I'm just gonna paste in the custom CSS here. Like I said, this is in the blog post in the description below. And so I pasted that in there. And so you can see that we're targeting the cadence column in the inner column, and we're displaying that as flex with the flex direction of column and flex set to 1. And then in a new line here, we are targeting the column again, the inner column, and then the advanced button inside of that inner column. And we're setting the margin top to auto so that it automatically figures out what that top margin should be to bottom align that button to the container. And so I'm gonna close out of the modal here, and you unfortunately won't see the changes in the editor itself, but if you go to preview the page one more time, we'll see it fixed. And then if you scroll down, you can see that our content boxes now look perfect. You can see that all three of our content boxes now have even heights, and the buttons are all perfectly aligned on the bottom, despite them having different lengths of text inside. Now, just as a general rule of thumb and good web design practices, I would recommend having roughly the same amount of words in each content box as is. I think that that just looks a lot more uniform. I just use this example because it's something that I see on many websites where you have different content boxes and some are way longer than the others and they just don't look good. And so I would recommend having roughly the same amount of words in each of the content boxes with these fixes in here, and your website is gonna look fantastic. Now back in the editor here, I'm just gonna go up to the Kadence Design Library button. Once again, I'm connected to the Start Blogging Blocks library, and I'm gonna choose the content category here, and I'm gonna scroll down here. You can see all of the content box sections. These are all 100% for free. And I'm gonna choose this one right here. And hey, that one looks pretty familiar. So this template is one of 36 that we give to you for free through Start Blogging Blocks. And this is exactly what we just built. In fact, at the row layout level here, you can see in the structure settings, we have that inner column height set to 100%. If we open up the custom CSS, that custom CSS is automatically applied in there for you, so you don't have to do it at all while building it yourself. And if I click into the headlines here, you can see that the line height is set to 1.3. All of the icons have the proper spacing, and everything is automatically configured for you. So there you have it. You just learned how to build content boxes the right way using Kadence Blocks with even height containers and bottom align buttons. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope that this video helped out. If it did, make sure to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell, and I'll see you guys in the next video.